Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl is setting up to be one of the best first-person shooter open-world adventure games this year. Previews for Stalker 2 have come out from IGN, GameSpot, and GamesRadar, all saying that it is big, it's great, and it's amazing. But in this video, we're going to be taking a look at a Windows Central article by Jez Corden on what the game is, why you should be hyped, and everything you need to know for its November 20th release date. So the Windows Central article on Twitter starts out with, why Stalker 2 is a Game of the Year contender, talking Xbox Game Pass, Xbox Series S optimization struggles, and 3 hours of hand-on experience. Preview. I am only going to be covering what I feel like is extremely important of Jez's article here, but I will be leaving the article in the description down below so you can go read the whole thing for yourself. So let's get right into it, talking about the Xbox Series S optimization problems or concerns. So this portion of the article reads, continuing with the theme of controversy, I had to ask GSC about the Xbox Series S. Microsoft's Xbox Series XS platform comes with the requirement of an S version, which sports lower end specs than its PS5 competing Xbox Series X. Some developers have openly complained about the difficulty of porting titles to the Xbox Series S, owing to its reduced RAM and tighter GPU specs. GSC itself thought working with the Xbox Series S would be impossible at first, but now the team believes that any modern game could potentially run on the Xbox Series S with the right optimizations. GSC stated, at first, we thought about bringing Stalker 2 to the Xbox Series S might be impossible. We have such a big game with so many mechanics, a huge amount of things, it felt like this must be impossible to do. But then we started optimizing, added new features for streaming information. Unreal Engine has a lot of features for this, but for our game, we really had to squeeze up every megabyte from every place of system content we could, and now we did it. After this experience, I believe it's possible for any game to reach the Xbox Series S memory limits, and yes, not every developer, every studio has the opportunity or the additional time to optimize for the Series S. We had to boost our expertise on the optimization side, which also helped the PC build, making it a lot more performant. We have quite low minimum PC requirements for a modern game. The game runs at 60 frames per second on Xbox Series X. There are some times where it might dip to 55 or so, but hopefully we can optimize further before or after release. We allow bigger drops in narrative cutscenes that are full of complexity and visual effects and the like, since it won't impact the player's movement experience. On the Series S, we stick to 30 FPS. However, in many cases we have managed to hit 60 FPS, but not as consistent as the Series X, but we're looking to get a performance mode for the Series S to get it to 60 FPS. We think it's possible. So if you do play primarily on an Xbox Series S, I would recommend waiting for the launch or thereafter of Stalker 2 before you actually get into it, unless you don't care for the 30 FPS limitation, because more likely than not, just like Starfield, just like Redfall, just a bunch of like other Xbox first-party titles and third-party titles now, it usually takes them about 6 months to a year to add those actual performance modes for the Series S. So it is good that they are still planning on making a 60 frames mode, but it's not probably going to be there at launch. But hopefully it will be there shortly after release. So still good for Series S users. Jez also asked about the difficulty settings that Stalker 2 would have, which was good because GSC actually did answer and they have up to 3 difficulty settings. Here's what they said. At release, we'll have 3 difficulties, but at normal difficulty, the game is already tuned to be really difficult. We have an even higher difficulty mode that doesn't just make the gameplay more difficult, but also strips back the HUD and UI elements. I do like the concept of that though, because it could probably restrict things like your map, so you always need to pay attention to where you're going, or your health, so you don't know when to heal or when not to heal, you don't know how close to death you are, something that can actually make the gameplay experience when you're trying to survive in this world more difficult, not just enemies do more damage, which sometimes can just be really annoying because they can just 3-shot you. GSC also talked about Stalker 2 being an immersive sim as best described by them. This is what they had to say. I personally like to play Stalker 2 without the HUD. You start feeling yourself in the game. If you've entered a firefight without the HUD, it didn't properly check your ammo, you realize you only have 3 bullets left in the magazine. It can be a very cool experience. You can also optionally turn off the HUD on the lowest difficulty though. The lowest difficulty is more like a story mode because we know a lot of players aren't hardcore who are fans too, because of the atmosphere of the Chernobyl exclusion zone and how it's known around the world. The loneliness there, the remnants of the stories of people living in this world. It's a unique feature of the game. You can spend hours just talking to random stalkers, talking about random topics with them, not narrative-driven topics. They will tell you about the zone and their lives. I love what we've done, even with the generic NPCs in Stalker. GSC also talked about 2 story expansions that they plan on releasing afterwards, after the release of Stalker 2, which I'm pretty sure we've already heard of, but they also touted their NPCs and how many interactive things that you could do with all the types of NPCs around the world of Stalker 2. Stalker's NPCs were legendary in their era too, giving the blighted land that cutting sense of strange optimism. An entire black market economy has grown around the pursuit of the zone's strange artifacts, and building a positive reputation with the game's various factions will help you out a great deal. Your starting weapons are shaky, prone to jamming, and inaccurate. You can barter for better weapons, hunt them down in quests, and get hints about hidden Stalker caches if you help out the right people. I was lucky enough to find a scoped rifle on the top of a water tower near the start, which helped me a great deal in subsequent firefights. Dynamic cover lean mechanics and stealth executions add some tactical flair, while enemies will seek your last known location, making sound another important tool to overcome the odds. GSC notes that 2 expansions are already planned for Stalker 2, with some of the team already working on the first as the development of the base game wraps up. GSC is also planning a variety of free post-launch updates and patches too, with plans for the story expansions requiring new features planned for the base game. It's actually really exciting to see that not only am I really excited for this game, and I realistically feel like if you enjoy first-person open-world immersive sims like this, that you should be excited for it as well, but that the developers are actually like extremely passionate about this. This is a game that has gone through literal war, and now that it's coming out in about a month, that it's finally making it out, and people, IGN, GameSpot, everywhere, people, Windows Central, are saying that it's amazing, that it lives up to the hype, that it is quality. I'm excited to see that a studio that is in the middle of a war can produce better games than the majority of other AAA studios. Actually insane that it's come to that, where a studio, again, going through literal war, has produced something greater and better than so many other AAA studios. But finally, we are now going to be talking about how Stalker 2 actually turned into an Xbox timed exclusive and how they were working with Xbox, and kind of a funny story. So Jez writes, Xbox isn't a company known for timed exclusive these days, so I was curious how its partnership with GSC came about. Stalker 2 launches as an Xbox Series X, S, and Windows PC exclusive, at least for a short while. The partnership, it turns out, was the result of a quick Google search and a cold email to the Xbox CEO Phil Spencer. We actually started with 0 contacts inside Microsoft. We started searching Google for an email for Phil Spencer, and we ended up finding it on some Reddit thread. It was an email that was essentially, "We are GSC Game World, we're interested in bringing Stalker to console players. We have a near instant response and a connection to the correct team. We've been working until now with the Xbox team, we love them, we think they are very effective and very empathetic." The game will also launch into Xbox Game Pass for both console and PC, which some publishers have publicly expressed doubts about. Stalker 2 will share a launch window with the likes of Call of Duty Black Ops 6, which is also set to hit the service soon, as well as Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. GSC isn't phased though. We don't think about Stalker as just being successful in Ukraine. It's successful all over the world too. With Stalker 2, we're hoping to find fans in all new countries too. It's not just a local story for us, especially if we're talking about global sales. On Xbox Game Pass, we can only talk for ourselves, but we believe that it is helping us a lot. Stalker is new to consoles, so going through Game Pass will help us reach a new audience. If you're unfamiliar, you might not buy Stalker. If you see it next to the $60 icon, but you can give it a try with Xbox Game Pass, and perhaps it becomes a fan of the franchise. Then in the future, that person might already know our future games. I know these guys. I know what experience I can get from that. So it really depends on the project and the company. For us, for Stalker 2, Game Pass has been a very good decision. Well, again, it is absolutely awesome to hear that GSC is passionate about the release of this game, that we know it's going to be quality, we know that they're excited that it's launching the Xbox Game Pass, but let me know down in the comments below if you are excited for this game. Are you going to be playing it through Xbox Game Pass? Are you going to be buying it? Have you purchased the Collector's Edition? Let me know. But if you did enjoy this video and want to see more content like this, consider leaving a like, sharing, commenting, and subscribing if you so choose to. Thank you all for watching this video. We have recently just passed 1,500 subscribers, and I am like ecstatic about it, dude. I mean, 2K by the end of the year. Doubtful on that, but still super excited. Thank you all for watching again, and I'll see you guys in the next video.